boy Four Letters, and we vibing with legends on the rise.
So, Mr. Four Letters, tell me where you from.
Birmingham, Alabama.
What side of town were you raised on in Birmingham?
Man, the west side, 63rd Street. Um, Came up, went to I went to Washington Elementary, then I went to Forest Hills Middle, and then I moved to the east side.
Gotcha. So, what was life like growing up in Birmingham for you?
Man, it was good. Back in the gap, it was cool. I can't say anything, typical West Side stuff, but I enjoyed it. Like it was, moving from Japan uh to the West Side, it was a culture shock. So it was always something going on back in those days. So I couldn't. It was good times, man, to say the least. Good times. The music was dope too. So
Gotcha. So, how old were you when you moved to Japan?
8. I was 8, and from age 8 to 11, and then I moved. I moved back here to Birmingham.
What was life like in Japan?
Interesting to say the least. The reason I say that was because just going over there and you meeting all different types of people. So that's why it was a good thing for me. Like it was the education was so far advanced as it was here. Because when I moved back here, it was I felt shit was behind. You know what I mean? But it was a good thing that I was over there first, cause I kind of was ahead of the curve. You know what I mean? So it was good though, man. Just meeting different people, different walks of life. So everything was cool.
How'd you end up in Japan?
Man, military brat. My mother was in the Air Force. She did 20. My father was in the Air Force as well. He did 8. So it was just a stop on her career. So we went over there for that.
Bet. So, did you like it in Japan?
It was cool. Like I can't, I can't complain about anything. I wouldn't trade it for the world because it's always good to do something different.
Gotcha. So, you said you came back to the States when you were 11?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, how did you come up with the name Four Letters?
Man. uh my name is Janari DeAndre Reynolds Oliver. So at first it was J Dro, Janari DeAndre Reynolds Oliver. But then I got tired of people associating the word J Dro with weed. So and it was J Dro is 4 letters. So and 4 letters could apply to anybody. So that's just what it is.
Gotcha. So, Mr. Four Letters, how long have you been doing music?
Man, I'm not about to tell you my age over here, man. But for quite some time, man. I've been doing it for a while. Like I've been through many eras. Let's just say the least. But I'm a vet. You know what I'm saying? But it's good to be a vet because I see, I see where I could have gone wrong if I would have got everything that I need wanted early. So it's a good thing, man. Over 10, I just say that.
So, what was your motivation on getting into music? How did you start your music career? What started it for you?
Well, I'm a mother's only child, so I was always writing, just being creative, and it was it was just dope to me. It was just always dope, and I kind of and I'm gonna attribute that to my mom because she was always playing good music when I was a kid, and I was like, damn, well, I could possibly do this myself and just write myself. So I just started getting into it like that, because my mom was an R&B head and she was always hip to what was going on. And then when I moved um, back to Birmingham from Japan, like that was like Outkast's first album came out, and that just changed the game. Like Southern Playalistic, Like that was new wave. So Outkast, Bone Thugs and Harmony, like nobody was doing what they were doing in music at that time. So I came at like the right time, you know what I mean? Cause like 94 was just bass music, but then that was something different, you know what I mean? So that was just, it was easy for me to fall into it and be creative.
Do you remember what your first song that you ever recorded?
Yes, it was called I'm a Baller. It was Alabama spelled backwards. Uh, so, and I recorded it with the same person I'm working with today, B Flat Tracks. You know what I mean? It was my, no, you know what? Let me take that back. I'm sorry. My first song is, uh, yeah, I do. It was called Love Story. It was back way ages ago. But yeah, I do remember. It was cool. It was back when they were still using ADATs back in the day. So yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I won't ask you your age because
Hey
I'm from the ADAT era. So
man, it's
yeah,
all good though. You know what I'm saying? Is listen. I'd rather be my age than to be the alternative. So I'm still on the right side of the dirt. So I can't complain.
right. So being an experienced vet in the game,
Hmm.
tell me maybe some of the stages and transitions that you've seen from when you first started to now. What's the biggest difference from in hip hop from when you first started until now? What do you see different?
Um, I would just say entitlement because back when I was coming up, man, if if you said you was an artist, you gotta prove it soon as you said it. Like, oh, you rap, all right, bust something, and then you would have to do that. You know what I mean? So now it's just like, oh, I don't freestyle. Uh, this shit ain't free. Nah, man. If you say what you about, I want to see that smoke. You know what I mean? So that's just what it was. And that I came up from freestyling and just if you say you was a rapper, you better be ready at all times to just spit something. And you had to be tight, like lyrically, because now I've seen the eras change, as far as like harmonies and stuff like that. Like you had to really spit.
Gotcha. Yeah, I remember those days. I come from that same era. You had to be about what you said you was about.
Absolutely.
You absolutely did. So you said you've been, it's been a minute since you've been in the game, and you remember that first song.
Hmm.
You said it was Love Story.
A love story, man.
Love
Yeah.
Story. So tell me about that song.
It was I was I was in high school, and then one of my neighbors that I used to live in an apartment complex. He was a singer, and then of course we was all I was saying I was doing music or whatever, and then I was just like, oh, you sing or whatever. Let's do something. So then I wrote it, and I went to the studio. It was downtown, back in like back in the day where you had to really pay for like studio time. Like it's not just at your disposal. Like if you was about that life, you had to pay. Like literally. So I was always working. You know what I mean? I've been working since I was 12. So it wasn't nothing. So, but I believed in what I was doing. So I got with my man, and we went and we made it happen.
Gotcha. So tell me, you said, are you still in Birmingham now, or do you still live in Birmingham?
Nah, man, I'm in ATL. ATL.
How long have you been in Atlanta now?
I've been in Atlanta for like 9 years now.
Okay. And what sparked the move to Atlanta?
Opportunity. Um, it was just cause fast forward, I moved back to Alabama for a year, and I just realized that it wasn't for me anymore, and I wanted to go to ATL. I've been in ATL since 2012, and that was a boom of the internet era. Like I think back when I moved, like Trinidad James was doing this thing or whatever, and I was like, yo, I need to be in that joint. You know what I'm saying? So that was just the natural progression. or whatever. So I just moved there. I actually moved there to go to college, and that was it. I've been there ever since.
Gotcha. So, Mr. Four Letters, what is your creative process in the studio? Do you write? Do you freestyle? Do you already have your beat? Do you get your beat when you go to the studio? Tell me a little about your process.
My process is, I don't know. It just depends on what I'm doing. I always like to. Sometimes I go beat first. I have an idea of a beat because if you listen to my music, it's tailor made for me. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and that just started with the inception of having an idea of the beat. You know what I'm saying? Because I consider myself a producer as well. So I'll do that like, and that's the thing. You know what I mean? I'll sit on something for months. If it's not ready, then it ain't ready. But I'll do beat first, have scribble down some words, and then I'll just come up with a concept. But me and my partner, man, it's just like we like peanut butter and jelly, and it's just easy to work with them. So yeah, so I just go beat first, and then just come up with a hook, and then put the words. Or sometimes I have the words, and then I come up with the hook. But it's definitely like beat first. I always have an idea of the beat that I want to rhyme to.
Yes, that's good. That's good. So, you said your partner, is it the producer you're talking about?
Yeah, man. B flat tracks, man. Salute to you, bro. You know what I mean? Good brother, man.
Yeah, he is. Is that the only producer that you work with?
Yeah. Well, actually, you know what? I got some new stuff that I'm doing with John Quest, man, out of Mississippi. So, and I really like John Quest. I'm gonna go on and shout him out, do his thing or whatever. He been working. He was working with a partner of mine, KD, out in Houston. So John Quest, but the reason, cause like I said, man, I'm kind of old school when it comes to my creative process. Like I like to work with one producer, and that's what gets the whole, because if you listen nowadays, you got like 7 producers on there, and I just want the synergy to remain the same because we have an actual relationship. So he kind of knows me as opposed to going and meeting somebody new or whatnot. So yeah, the majority of my music is with B flat.
I agree. And I definitely like that relationship, and I advocate for the same artists to build relationships with one producer. Comes out with better products. That's how we used to do it back in the day.
Absolutely, man. Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, his 3 highest selling albums with one producer.
Yep,
So
totally agree. So,
yeah.
what Mr. Four Letters has got? What do you have going on now? What are you currently working on?
Currently working on my new project coming out this summer. It's called Say Less. Um, it's different from the narrative because the last project I did, I didn't think I would be able to top myself, but I did. I ain't even gonna front. Like I'm excited about it. Um, it's gonna be dope, man. I think y'all gonna enjoy it. Like real talk.
Gotcha. So let's talk about the narrative because myself and Mr. Mosley, we've had the opportunity of shooting several of the videos for that project. So let's talk about your thought process and how did you come up with the title and the song selection and putting that project together. Just run me through some of your creative process on putting that project together.
All right, the narrative. The reason I called it the narrative is because I wanted to change the narrative of music. Because as you all know, like I'm different as opposed to somebody else, and I know my demographic of people that I make music for is a certain age group, and I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? So the narrative is just that's I just really wanted to change the narrative, and my song selection. My favorite part of even doing a album is song placement. Um, it's a very important part to me. That's something that I take near and dear because I, we're in a single driven industry right now, and I'm more so of a project person. Like I want you to listen to the whole shit. I don't want you to skip nothing, and that's it's no filler songs, and that's important to me. So and it was real personal to me, and I'm excited about how it came out. Everybody that I work with on it, from the photographers to the videographers, it was dope. And if you haven't got it, go and check it out on 4ltz.com. You know what I mean? It's a y'all gonna definitely appreciate it.
Let's talk about some of the songs. What were some of your hottest songs off that project?
Man, I would say CFWT, Can't Fuck With That. That was one of the songs that I made that I was like, yo, this is it, because it relates to everybody and what they doing, because there's some shit out there that you not really fucking with, and that was one of the ones. Magic, Top Down, my J's, because that was something very personal to me, and that was the first video that we shot together, so that was a real personal song, and that was the lead single off of the album. Really, the whole project, man. It's just like I can't even pick one, because once you press play, you just gonna let it ride.
Right. Yeah, that was our first video shooting together, my J's, and we've been rocking together ever since.
Definitely. Oh shit! Hold on, before we drinks up too, man. Cause this is I'm gonna tell you a little backstory about drinks up. Um, a guy reached out to me on Instagram. He was like, "Yo, man, I'm liking your music or whatever." And Dunk Master, he actually used one of my songs for a TV, for the TV joint, because he got a TV deal with Vice, and he used it on there. So I was like, yo, I'm on to something or whatnot. And he kind of reached out to me. So Drinks Up as well. You know what I mean? So that was, yeah, definitely Drinks Up too.
Gotcha. So, Say Less. When can we be expecting that Say Less project to drop?
I'm Say Less May, no later than June.
And how many songs you gonna have on that project?
Man, I gotta cut the baby. I started with 13. I'm probably gonna end up with 9, but it's still tentative, because on this project I started in one direction and then I'm ended in another one. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's different. So probably between 9 and 12.
Can you give us a sneak peek of maybe some of the songs you're gonna have on there?
Oh, you
Maybe
meing
the name of the songs, maybe the titles of some of the songs you're gonna have on
all
that
right,
project.
the first lead single is called Relax. I'm gonna be shooting that with Mosley real soon. It's a springtime banger. It's different than what I did on the narrative, because the narrative was kind of like slow and kind of chill, and this project is more so upbeat. But Relax, I just featuring my man King King Andre. So it's gonna be dope, man. I'm gonna let y'all check it out. I'm gonna let y'all hear it, you know what I'm saying, when we get done with this. So,
Gotcha. I'm excited. I'm waiting to hear that project.
man,
See
dude,
it
I'm telling
unfold.
you, all these videos is gonna be movies. I see my man Mosley doing his thing, so I'm excited about working.
Gotcha. So tell me, Mr. Four Letters, if how can your fans maybe find you on social media, and also how can they find your music on the platforms? What's the easiest way to find you?
Man, type in 4LTZ in your Google search. You know what I'm saying? Simple. 4LTZ. My website is 4ltz.com. Instagram J, the letter J, DRO205. Yeah, just definitely. I would just say if you go to my website 4ltz.com, that has everything on it or whatever. You could buy merch, everything. So just shop with your boy, man. You gonna definitely feel what I got.
All right, well, that's a bet. Well, we appreciate you coming in for chatting with us today, Mr. Four Letters.
Man, appreciate y'all, man. Salute.